Story 1. My 23F, 24M, tried to kill himself because I don't want to get back together with him after he cheated on me. Me and my ex were almost together for 2 years until I found out he cheated on me. Ironically, he cheated on me using Reddit, r4r subs, and to be honest, at first I didn't believe it, but then I got hit with the undeniable proof, and so I hardened my heart and broke up with him. It was a really messy breakup, with him crying, kneeling, begging, saying he only did that because he was frustrated and that he truly loved me. Other times, he blamed me for him cheating because I didn't give him enough attention. I ignored all of this and blocked his number and all his social medias. He tried using his family's phones to reach me, and so I blocked them too, although I am civil with them despite all of this. Because he couldn't reach me through the cyberspace, he eventually went to my house. Thankfully we had a locked gate and my dogs were also very alert to intruders. He couldn't get in, and so he slumped in front of our street and cried while demanding to see me. I already told my parents beforehand that I broke up with him, so my mom frantically called me that my ex was here crying. I immediately went back home and confronted him. He said a lot, saying how he couldn't live without me and that he'd kill himself if I wouldn't get back together with him. Now this is where I agree I did wrong. I laughed at him and said he could try. Then, despite his pleas, I went inside my house, leaving him outside. After that, it became quiet for 2 to 3 weeks, so I thought he finally left me alone. Then one day I got a call from an unknown number, and when I answered it, it was his mom crying and telling me that whatever my ex did, I should forgive him because her son is in the hospital right now after trying to kill himself, because I don't want him back anymore. I was really surprised and also worried, and so I told the mom I'll talk about this to my parents first. My dad said he was pitiful and that although the end decision would still be mine, he hopes that I can support him for a while, even if it means lying to him. My mom, on the other hand, said he's crazy and to never see him again. My sister is impartial with all of this. I also asked my friends, and they basically said don't ever meet with him because he's a manipulative ass. My relatives eventually knew of this because the gossip mill here runs fast, and said I should forgive him and to let bygones be bygones because God wouldn't forgive me if I don't forgive. I live in a misogynistic and religious country, so their behavior explains it. I do care about him and don't want him to die, but I also don't want to get back together with him because I know my worth. What is the best way to do things? TLDR, found out my ex cheated, had a very messy breakup, so I blocked all his socials and number, but then I got an unknown call one day and it was his mom saying I should get back together with him because he attempted suicide. Most all of the commenters are telling OOP not to give in to the ex-BF and the pressure of getting back together with him. They are telling her ex trying to hurt himself is not her fault and she should go no contact, NC. OOP seems relieved that people are supportive of her choice. Update. So I followed the advice here and went NC. I sent a text to his mom saying how I'll go NC, but I wish for his fast recovery. Basically, it did not go well, and it definitely got a lot worse before it got better. His mom sent me a lot of messages and most were curses. Yes, it included a lot of derogatory words. I knew she was mentally troubled because of what happened to her son, so I ignored it and blocked her. When I woke up, I got lots of messages and message requests, and it was because she posted what was supposed to be a private matter in social media for the whole world to see. She even posted pictures of him in the hospital and she tagged me. It was overall a very hateful post. She screenshotted my text message to her about going NC. I was turned into a villain overnight. Most of my message requests were my ex's relatives cursing me, and some of them were random strangers who also rebuked me. Even worse, Some of my own relatives berated me and they said I should have taken their advice and got back together with him. Thankfully, the post didn't become viral or anything like that, but so many people I know and friends of friends saw it. My mom told me to go on a social media detox or just go on sites where I'd enjoy and she'd handle it. Well, she posted a response to my ex's mom post and it was about how she conveniently left out the part where her son cheated on me just to gain internet sympathy. My friends also backed it up and sent receipts and screenshots. My friends were one of the first people to know about the cheating. The hate died down a bit and I also received some support, but the damage had been done. My ex's company saw the post, my mom's and ex's mom's, and they want to let him off because the whole issue is not good for their image since it reached a lot of people. I knew because ex's mom privately messaged my mom to delete her post because of it. She also said she'll delete her own post too. My mom got mad saying she'll refuse to delete it because now they want to be civil, but I did tell her to just delete it so that the whole thing can be forgotten. So far the posts are still up. For context, I live in an Asian, misogynistic, religious country, so yes, I am still getting some hate messages, but personally, I believe I can handle it. As for my dad, him and my mom are not in speaking terms because my mom says he's not taking it seriously and my dad says that this isn't much of a big issue. To be honest, the most absurd thing about all of this is how my ex is still asking for me. I got a much unneeded update from one of his circle of friends, who by the way, knew of the cheating. All of his friends knew of the cheating and didn't think to tell me. I would like to thank all who gave me advice. I did not regret it one bit because who I believe to be good people, ex's mom and ex, all turned out manipulative and hateful people. No worries, I will definitely not get in contact with any of them in the present or future. TLDR, ex's mom made a post turning me into a villain. Mom made another post on my side. Ex's mom wants us to delete our post and she'll delete hers. No conclusion for that yet, but I got a lot of hate and definitely now and for the foreseeable future, I'll be going NC with them. A lot of the commenters are advising OOP to get some kind of cease and desist letter and maybe restraining order due to the ex's mom's continuous behavior. OOP said she and her mom are in contact with a lawyer to get more advice on this. Story 2. I'm leaving my husband because he's not upholding his part of the deal. My husband and I got married pretty young, 23, and we have been through a lot together. But I would say that our biggest struggles have been our careers and deciding on which paths to take. By the time we were 23, neither of us had graduated college yet because college and life is expensive and we don't come from money. We both had to choose between working to survive and working to further our education on multiple occasions, ultimately setting us back in college many times. My husband was working dangerous situations in construction at the time and I was working dead-end retail jobs, so one day we sat down with each other and really discussed what we wanted for our future and our life, and all of it came down to us bettering our lives, which came to furthering and completing our education. So I decided then that because we still needed to survive, I would work to provide for us while my husband focused on earning his environmental engineering degree since he only had 3 years left for his degree versus my year left in undergrad and 4 years for med school. So we came to an agreement that he would solely focus on finishing his degree so that he could in turn provide for us while I focused on med school solely down the line. He finished and earned his bachelor's, as did I. I went at my own pace, taking the bit of classes I had left here and there while working full-time as a caregiver to earn a living. I was so proud of him and even prouder when he landed his dream job at a great company many months later. The job he landed is in his field, it pays amazingly, and offers great benefits. I gave it the 90-day provisional trial to see how my husband meshed with the company and to see how things were for him before I even brought up the possibility of me continuing my education. After the 90 days, I sat my husband down to talk to him about the plans I have to continue on to med school. He convinced me to give us a couple of months to set up a rainy day fund just in case we needed it before I quit my job, which I fully understood. 6 months went by and our rainy day fund is pretty well padded. So I again talked to him about school plans and he begins to say that he wants to start a family now and doesn't think we could work out starting a family and all my attention being on med school. We have talked about starting a family, but once both of us were in the fields that we wanted. So I reminded him what we agreed upon and he told me, well, I think right now is the perfect time to start a family and I want one, so if you choose to go to school over our family, I'll be forced to part my ways with you. I stood there in complete shock of what he said to me, but ultimately decided that I love my husband, but not enough to give up on my education/goal. So I'm giving in to his ultimatum and parting my ways. Story 3. I've sacrificed my entire life and I can't even get a simple thank you. I gave my entire childhood to raise my siblings, yet in my mom's eyes, I'm just playing the victim. She acts as if her and my dad didn't leave me alone with 3 young kids at the age of 9 for a week without any money and barely any food to fend for ourselves. I knew how to change a diaper before I even finished learning long division. I missed so many days of school to make sure my siblings made it to school, missed so many meals to make sure my siblings ate all while my parents got to be child-free. I didn't even go off to the college that I wanted to because I knew that no one would be there to care for my siblings. Now I'm here at 23 and although my siblings are now older, 21, 17, and 15. I still take care of my 17 and 15-year-old sisters and they live with me. My 17-year-old sister took her senior photos last night and she invited my mom to come. I knew that my mom would make things about her like she always does, but it was my sister's choice to invite her. My sister looked absolutely stunning and I was so proud. When it was time for my sister to pick out the photos that she liked and in what format she wanted it in, she picked out a photo of her in her cap and gown and chose it as a wall portrait. As I was paying for the photos, my sister asked me why she hadn't seen any senior pictures of me, to which I responded because I didn't take them. She then asked why and I explained to her that I had to buy food for us so I couldn't afford the pictures. My mom flew off the handle saying that I was lying and that I always try to make her seem like a bad mom and that I was playing the victim. I de-escalated the situation as best as I could to save my sister the embarrassment, but when we got back to my house my mom just kept going and I finally broke down and said, "You are a shitty mom, and dad is a shitty dad. I raised myself and your 3 other kids. You guys got to live child-free most of our lives and you're still living child-free. I pay for things that my sisters need, they have a home with me, and this is the first thing you've came to for them because my sister had to beg for you to come." She again said I was lying. It's always been like this and I know it will always be like this, but geez, it would feel so nice to hear thank you from either of my parents.